Hi guys. So I'm just in the garden at the moment and I was turning the compost and I was watching the chickens and I was just thinking about how important the chickens actually are in a permaculture garden and the different things that they bring and different yields that they bring, and how if you don't have chickens in your garden you definitely need them. So first of all, the chickens lay approximately, we have 14 chickens at the moment. We had 20, we lost 6 of them to foxes over the winter. They lay around 12 eggs a day. That's a lot of food. We don't eat 12 eggs a day, so we sell around 5 to 6 dozen a week. Roughly, most weeks we sell around 6 dozen eggs. So over the space of a year, if you think about it, that brings in around €1,500 to our garden here, and for us we probably spend close enough to that. So in terms of input to the chickens, we've got very little financial input. We do have to feed them. They eat about 2 bags of organic layers pellets a month, which is around €30. Other than that, we probably use a bale of straw every 2 months for their bedding. On top of that, they produce a massive amount of manure. This whole pile behind us was straw and manure and leaves, all from the chicken system next door. And for an organic garden, compost and high quality compost, manure based ideally, is absolutely priceless. It's a necessity. I don't want to be buying in a whole lot of fertility, so the chickens are directly responsible for the fertility here in the garden. As well as that, they peck, they scratch. They're inside now clearing out 4 old beds at the moment, getting ready for our potatoes. As well as that, any type of waste or scraps or food scraps, stuff that we don't want to put directly into the compost, we feed to the chickens, which is an absolutely fantastic way to get rid of scraps and just close your whole your waste cycle in your home, because sometimes cooked food and stuff can be tricky enough to deal with. On top of this, they're great at picking out slugs and snails in the garden as well, but at the same time this is a double-edged sword. If you leave them into the garden somewhere you don't want them to go, they will eat your plants as well. So for us, this garden wouldn't be half as successful as it is without having chickens here. They're absolutely fantastic as well to have around. They're full of character, they're great crack, and Sky seems to like them as well. Just another task that we have to keep on top of here in the garden as well is the compost. So this needs to be turned from this bay into here. So this is mostly stuff that came out of the chicken run, so lots of chicken manure, lots of straw, there's some leaves and stuff, and it's breaking down nicely. So there's lots of worms and stuff in this at the moment, so I'm going to turn this in, and as I'm turning it, I leave the chickens out here as well, because they love going through it and eating out some of the worms and getting some nice protein while I'm turning that compost. So I have the compost turned here now. On the left is a finished bay of compost. This bay, which was this bay, was turned in this way. And the placement of the compost is also super important just to think about as well. So this one here, which is finished, has very little worms left inside it. So by having your new pile positioned next to an existing near finished pile, the worms can then easily migrate from one pile to the other. The same will be said here now for this one. This one probably won't be turned again, and we have our new pile here on the right. So as this pile finishes and it's teeming with life, there's literally thousands of worms inside this pile here now. So as this pile finishes, the worms can then migrate through the slats in the timber into the right pile. So as you can see in this video, chickens are absolutely amazing little animals, like for a permaculture garden. They peck, they scratch, they turn the soil, and they pretty much eat anything that you have any leftovers. So they're a great way to recycle any organic matter, really, nearly, that you've any leftover food scraps or anything, and they'll pick and they'll scratch, and they'll provide you with massive amounts of fertility through their manure. So they're absolutely fantastic, and they're great company as well.